seconds remaining.
Meanwhile, Kopite go for the Doom, the Tusk, and the Batrider. I can't believe they've actually made it out with the Batrider, because I've rarely ever seen a Batrider actually available for the pick, right? And instantly, whenever the Batrider is available for the pick, you almost always go for the first pick Batrider, right? Just so well, and is going to be doing a lot better against the Shadow Fiend. Just instantly being able to snag that Shadow Fiend up, lasso him down, and then the Doom can come in. Some other of those heroes can come in. I mean, sure, the Templar Assassin is banned, but you can always go for the Terrorblade. You can always go for something like the Morphling as well. And even if you don't want to go for those heroes, you can also send this Doom towards this position 1, right? The Doom on this Abaddon will mean that he can't actually heal up with his borrowed time. But ideally, you wouldn't want to use the Doom on the Abaddon. I would suggest that the Doom be used on the Shadow Fiend instead. Meanwhile, Kopites, they go for the Storm Spirit, and it is yet to be seen whether or not future Esports will be playing the Shadow Fiend on the mid position or on the carry position. From the few series that we have seen, from the few games, and Shadow Fiend has been played a lot by future Esports. They seem to rotate him around. Sometimes sending him towards the mid, sometimes sending him towards the safe lane. But let's see what is going to be for this one. I hope they don't go for weird pairing. Like last time I saw them pick out the Shadow Fiend, they went for the Templar Assassin, which felt kind of off. Meanwhile, future Esports, for Kopais, they do certainly think this is going to be a carry Shadow Fiend, and then that will mean that Abaddon is playing as a support, and I'm not too sure about that. So I do think that for future Esports, they should be sending the Shadow Fiend down towards the mid position, the Abaddon as the carry, and the Centaur Warrunner as the offlane. That's how their draft certainly looks, at least from my side. Meanwhile, future Esports, they ban out the Lifestealer and as well as the Ursa. Kopites.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Let's see what they're going to be able to do. Chucky. I really like his name. every time Chucky is falling off or like dying, like, oh no, Chucky. Not Chucky. But still.
Team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Let us see where this ends up. Lost pick coming out from both of these sides. Kopite versus future Esport. And currently waiting.
Team pick.
And it's going to be the Razor coming out from the side of Kopites. Let's see what future Esport go for. Not too sure about this Razor pick, but it is a very well-oriented mid-game lineup, right? This Razor straight up wins against the Abaddon. And meanwhile, future Esports, they can't exactly contest the Razor here. Not to mention the Batrider. It just seems like overall Kopites have an extremely strong draft. They have 2 frontliners, they have meaningful disables, they have control as well as zaps coming in. And for future Esports, they need to be able to play with the Centaur, right? Use the stuns from the Centaur. And like, they need to play around the Centaur, essentially, right? The Centaur has to be the one who to go in with that Hoofstorm. There is no other hero that can do that. Everyone else is too squishy. If this Abaddon tries to frontline, he's just going to get doomed up. For future Esports, what are they going to be picking up for their last pick? They need a support, but oh man, against all of these heroes, all of the supports here are so incredibly difficult to play with. Perhaps you just pick up the Shaman, honestly. The Shaman is completely open in the pool. It doesn't really do anything to the Razor. And in fact, the Shaman is incredibly weak against the Razor, but is incredibly strong against the Storm Spirit. And sometimes even the Batrider. Dark Willow plus Shaman, decent enough combination. You add in 2 additional disables, and for future esports, they can potentially play with the Shaman and then just overwhelm Kopites, but it's a difficult ask. You have so much counter initiation coming in from the other side. I'm not really sure there is a perfect support hero here. I mean, ideally, you go for a support hero and you just hope for the best. Oh wow, a Terrorblade. So they actually want to go in for a carry Terrorblade, and they will be going for a support Abaddon. Perhaps this Abaddon support is just there as a buffer to provide that shield against the Doom and provide that shield against the lasso coming in from the Batrider, but it's not ideal. There's little to no lockdown available on future esports. Just the hoof stomp on the Centaur and the Bramble Mazes coming in from the Dark Willow. Other than that, how are you supposed to hold Anya? How are you supposed to hold this Storm Spirit? Meanwhile, what are you going to do when Batrider comes in with the lasso and the Tusk with the Snowball, the Doom is going to overwhelm you with the Scorched Earth and just run you down with the Doom, and the Razor with a Static Link and the Plasma Field. I mean, it just seems like so much. There's no pause, there's no hold that future esport have. That's it. I mean, within the short, less than 2-second duration of the Hoof Stomp, I'm not too sure if future esports actually have the firepower or the nuke potential. Sure, you have Knight on that Shadow Fiend over on that mid position. Did that magical damage Shadow Fiend, but he just has raises. And if you don't get off those triple raises within those 2 seconds, which is very difficult to do, then you won't be able to take down anyone from Kopites. Of course, the mazes will be providing sufficient amounts of a build-up, right? You can throw down the Bramble mazes, and then you can come down with the Requiem, and you will be able to finish them off. At least that's the idea. That is the... I would say that is the hope of Kopites. I hope they're not coping a bit too hard, but still.
Prepare for battle.
TCMG is a bit right about that, but that's the problem he's identifying for us. That you know, it's difficult to actually reposition yourself if you are future esports, right? Because again, Kopites have such a huge stampede advantage, right? They can run you down, and your ability to actually disengage and push back against that is not really all that present. Top power rune. You spawn and TCMG disconnecting as well. 2 heroes from Kopites disconnecting. We did see a bit of pauses coming out from the last time the Kopites did play. I hope that everything is okay on their end and that we have a good clean game of Dota. But still, a few disconnects. We can work with that. Carlo has reconnected in the game. And we should be resuming once the Razor comes back online, as a bit of drawing happening over from the Batrider. Let's talk a bit about these lanes, right? It is going to be Chucky who is the carry for Kopites on that Doom. Position 1 should be having a decent enough time. I mean, you get the Doom off on that Terrorblade, he is going to die. If you are able to take him down within the 16 seconds, it is 16 seconds of the Doom at level 3, around 12 seconds of the Doom, right? If you are able to take him down within those 12 seconds, and the rest of the team fight just goes wonderfully for you, right? And you have enough. You have the Batrider who can go in with the lasso, the Razor to come in with the Static Link, the Storm Spirit that zap forward and vortex him down. What more can you really ask for? It really does seem like a bit of an outdraft coming out from Kopites. But let's see. The Doom has gone for the unconventional facet, right? The impending Doom, which increases its duration every 6.66 minutes. Hmm.
30 seconds to battle.
Future Esports, they are going for a smoke. Their smoke is going to be broken by Bombi, who's going to eat a hoof stomp. And there the Raiders are coming in. He is sure as dead. Cry will find that kill. And there is no static link available for DCMG. Not really too sure why he didn't go for that if they were going for a level 1 excursion. But very early start coming out from the side of Future Esports.
The battle begins.
And now that the horn has been blown, the creep whales will be making their way towards these lanes. Cry on that Terrorblade will be heading on down. Terrorblade plus Docris on the Abaddon. Not really too sure what this lane is going to be able to do or what the Abaddon is really supposed to do against the Razor here. It really seems like Kopites have such a massive advantage over on this bot side that this Razor can just simply use the static link even against the Metamorphosis, right?
Radiant's courier.
It really doesn't seem like Cry will be able to do anything, and that Docris, even with his Aphotic Shield, really, he's just that's all he can do. Pull some creeps at the very least, make sure the lane momentum stays in Cry's favor. But even then, we might come on to a situation where this Terrorblade is going to get pushed out eventually. And may even find himself in a situation where he has to fall back to that jungle. Of course, over on that mid side. It is going to be a Storm Spirit versus a Shadow Fiend, one of the classical skill-based matchups that we will see. And while the Shadow Fiend has that advantage because those raises, those long-range raises, right? The static Remnant going out is about as much range as the mid-range strike from that Shadow raise, right? So you can essentially hit 2 raises while the Storm Spirit Anya can only hit you with 1 Remnant, and that is a big advantage going in favor of Knight. Ideally, he should be able to get that done. And at the very least, of course, Anya, the Storm Spirit, is one of those heroes that can actually just fall back towards the jungle. Meanwhile, topside, another hoof stomp being found on Bombay. He is going to fall. Meanwhile, Chucky will be able to find that Dark Willow. On the Batrider coming in with the TP. Meanwhile, the lane momentum really not working out from the side of Future. They are able to stack the creeps towards the other side, but still, yet to see an engagement coming out from the Razor. I think he is waiting for the level 2 static link to be able to go in. It is the better duration. I mean, you drain double the amount of damage. So I do expect him to be going in. Zoo falls towards that top side. Now towards that bot lane. I keep anticipating some kind of a move happening here. At the 3-minute Lotus, of course, will go the way of Carlo, uncontested. And even the top side Lotus is going to go towards the way of Kopites. As constantly, I mean, topside, it doesn't really seem like they care much about keeping the lane momentum in their favor. All they really care about is being able to zone out the Centaur, who has not been doing all that well in terms of lost hits, is sitting at about 12 of them alongside of his carry, right? And it's actually Kopites who are managing to win the laning phase as far as the lost hits go in a very big way. Even towards the mid side, the Storm Spirit Anya is able to hold his own against the Shadow Fiend, which is not an easy task, but he's still managing to get that done while also keeping himself high enough on HP. I wonder when the go signal, when the green light will be there for some of this aggression that we should have here. I mean, they can kill this Abaddon at any time they want, but I'm not too sure about this. Now, that's when they finally go in. Carlo on towards that Stellar Blade. He has no more damage left. Even if he wants to turn around, all he can really do is try to juke around those trees. Is losing a bit of life, but of course, still alive right now. The static link, of course, will be there for quite a few more seconds, and he can choose to turn this around once that ends. Of course, they are not going to be able to pick up the Terrorblade kill. It is going to, however, be a kill over on the other side against Bombi. Of course, he was traded out. Chucky did find a kill on that Centaur, and he's going to be more than happy with that. Chucky, is he going to die here? No, he's not. It was just a level 1 Shadowrun strike. Now towards that mid side, a rotation coming in from Bombi, and Knight might end up dying over here. He is bottling back up, and Bombi, does he really want to be going back in? Turns out he does. He was very sure about that and was able to find the kill. Of course, Docris was able to trade him out, but that's a lot of lost experience for the Shadow Fiend, and Anya will be able to get his level 6 pretty soon, and that means that he's going to have a significant advantage over that Shadow Fiend. Chucky towards that top lane. Dark Willow able to zone out the Doom here, but still it's not that much. DCMG with the Razor. Again, not really having found much. He's going to be level 5 soon, and he's going to have that level 3 static link should he go for it. But again, over on the mid side, it is a trade being found. A Batrider for a Willow. And now Knight may have enough, but he doesn't actually have that third raise. And Donya will have that level 6, so he'll spot out Docris, and that will give him enough space to actually back away. Meanwhile, Knight trying to look for those double raises, won't be able to find them. Docris does steal the regeneration rune, and that means that Knight may want to be going in for another set of raises. He has enough mana up on himself. Of course, he is taking a lot of napalm stacks, which can get disabled at any time, right? With the shield, there it is. Meanwhile, Chucky holding on to his level 6. If you take a look towards the net worth, it is both the Doom as well as the Razor who are leading the net worth chart. Meanwhile, the Shadow Fiend and the Storm Spirit are struggling because there is a lot of action happening towards that mid side. Docris coming in. And Cry, again, forced out of the lane. Underneath his tower, though. Surprising that Razor actually went for the level 3 of Plasma Field rather than the level 3 of the Static Link. I wonder what that is. I mean, the 15 damage drain rate per second is quite a bit. Shrine of Wisdoms to come online as Zeus already managed to get that one. Meanwhile, you have the Tusk reaching for it over on his side. Kopites right now playing a bit passive. The Doom not really being used either. Irving may just want to end up going on the Doom instead if he's not careful. Once again, Irving with that Centaur. Now towards that top side, Chucky is the one in trouble. Even Cry is here with that Terrorblade trying to dodge out those mazes, and the Snowball only to temporarily buy him some amount of time, but he's going to get hit. The Doom will come out in response towards that Centaur, but there is no follow-up here, and he should be doing just fine. Has about 800 HP. The Terrorblade's Metamorphosis, once it's activated, it should be enough to take down this tower. The question is, what kind of a response are they going to bring here? The Storm Spirit Anya is content on farming up for now, as the Razor is towards that boss side trying to trade in terms of these objectives. But Bombi and Carlo both at just the level 4 mark. Don't want to be going in quite just yet. Doom will respawn and he will come back into the lane, but perhaps with the Doom they go back in? Still a big question. Meanwhile, towards that bot side, DCMG is trying to zone out the Terrorblade. They're kind of playing a ring of roses, but don't think there's any winner with that one. How did you win? that game.
Radiant's middle
I don't
tower
actually
is under
remember
attack.
how that game. I know how the game went, but I don't know what the objective of the game was. But of course, we were like silly children back then. Carlo trying to find the entry onto his Dockers, won't be having it. Bombi over on the side as well. There is enough manpower, but not enough will to actually fully engage. Now Chucky will go in. Has the Scorched Earth, but it's going to run out, and that means that they don't exactly have enough damage or even the movement speed really to contest over here. Bombi, it's very surprising that no one is actually positioning themselves towards that bot side. I know there are 3 heroes here from Future, but maybe you want to do something about the Terrorblade over on that bot lane. Of course, Terrorblade isn't having the best time. He is forced into the jungle. Meanwhile, the Razor can pull the creeps as well as farm them. Oh, wow. Anya got hit by the Bramble Mazes. Was in trouble. But now it's towards that top side where trouble is to be found. On towards Bombi. He falls and Chucky has too far away from his tower. Is going to eat that triple raise and is going to be falling down. Very massive overextension coming in from the Kopites, and I'm not too sure if that's going to be worth it for them.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Towards that bot side tower, you do have a DCMG who is continuing to farm. Has the Falcon Blade, but I'm not too sure if... But I'm not too sure what he's going to be able to do in this kind of situation, unless he just stacks up with his team, and that's something that Kopites are heavily missing. All of these engagements that they have taken have been in such a lackluster way. They haven't fully committed their heroes or fully committed their potential. Storm Spirit has been missing every single time, apart from the fact that apart from him just coming in towards this bot side to dish out a damage or two on towards that tower. But that's about it. Again, Bombi too far away from his Blink Dagger. Chucky very close to his My Hand of Midas. And meanwhile, Storm Spirit is going to be going for that first item Kaya instead of the Witchblade, which leaves the Shadow Fiend free to farm up that Blink Dagger. And once he has that, I think that Future Esports are going to be increasing the amount of damage that they are going to be putting out. I think they're going to be increasing their presence over on the other side of the map and just going to be amplifying their pressure in general. Once again, despite having the disables, they can't really do anything to a hero that transcends realms really to teleport out. There's no AoE stuns on their side. Doctor's in possession of an amplified damage rune. Anya will blink on him, trying to make sure he procs his ultimate. There it is. As now Anya is in danger here. Zoo just nicely done, forcing him out, forcing him to expend his mana. They thought he was in danger of being raised down, which, to be fair, he is in. As the Shadow Fiend now incoming towards that mid lane with his Blink Dagger. And Anya is struggling, or rather not struggling, but not too sure what the decision making is going to be from the Storm Spirit. And so far, despite us having the better draft, Kopites haven't made a single play with their Storm by their side. And it's not because they can't, right? There are squishy heroes to be found over on the side of Future Esports. Cry is free farming, quite simply, without being contested at all on that Terrorblade. Not a single attempt on that Terrorblade has occurred, outside of that one attempt we saw with that level 2 static link, but that's just about it. Even the Doom has been online, but Chucky is content on farming. I suppose he farms faster than everyone else because he has that Devour. But you know, with these items coming online for Future Esports, they will be stronger pretty soon. They will be stronger past that 35-minute mark. Make no mistake about it. The Terrorblade as a carry is one of the best heroes in the game. Of course, so is the Storm Spirit, but now is the first rotation they make, and it's on towards the support Abaddon. with Chucky coming in, perhaps they can take him down, but the Centaur was too quick for them. He saw that one coming and was able to actually disengage, use a stampede before he got doomed down, and now Knight in trouble. It seems lackluster all over, and oh, a triple raise combination being found by Knight. He blinked in, and that was the Arcane Rune, as Docris is okay. Oh. Not too sure what the all chat is on about. I perhaps there's some history here that I'm not used to. This is my first time casting future esports, right? It is, or not the first time, but it is the first tournament in which I am casting Chinese teams. I usually cast South American, European, and even Southeast Asian, but it is the first time casting the Chinese region. Irvine, Hoofstomp at the ready, will use it on that Centaur, but he is falling incredibly low with the Requiem coming out from the other side. Knight finds a triple raise and finds a triple kill as well. And Docris finds the tip. So far, it has been very lackluster from Kopite. Their Razor DCMG doesn't simply care. He's like, I will continue farming up because I want the farm. I want these creeps. They're just free creeps here. If I don't take it, who else will? Meanwhile, Bombi. Oh man, and the owner's call coming out as well. And this net worth lead is going to amp up quite a bit.
Here I am. Touche.
Anya. Mid side, the Tusk also falling incredibly low. And this time around, I mean, future esports, their Shadow Fiend performances have either been really good or really bad, and this one is definitely the former. Knight just seems on point today.
Dire are scanning.
DCMG.
Radiant are scanning. Dire's top tower is under
Oh,
attack.
the Shadow Fiend actually
Radiant's middle tower is
blinking
under
away and
attack.
has an entire Black King bar built at the ready.
Bottom tower is under
Terrorblade
attack.
Cry with the Metamorphosis finally making their way towards some of these objectives. They will be able to take down a lost tier 1 tower from the side of Kopites, and Kopites are unable to cope right
Dire's
now.
courier has been killed.
Chucky's courier has been killed as well. Now towards that mid side,
Dire's bottom
Willow
tower is under attack.
doesn't have the Blink Dagger but has the Eels. He just at the very least wants to be supporting his Shadow Fiend. Meanwhile, Anya has fallen incredibly behind. Is just on his Gaia. He should have been able to make his Sanj, or had at least the few components of the Sanj and Gaia built at the ready.
Dire's middle tower
Just
is
about at
under
6,000 in terms of net worth, 6,500 in terms of net worth. Meanwhile, Chucky has the Hand of Midas, but again, nothing really else. So this 4,000 net worth lead that you're seeing is actually a 7,000 net worth lead because Chucky is holding 3,500 gold in his pocket. Now I know that's for the Sacred Relic, but I'm sure he knows he needs to go and get that item. With his courier being killed, it's going to be nearly impossible. He's just going to teleport towards this boss side and then go grab it himself from the secret shop. There we go. There we go. Everything, the world order has been restored. Everything is good now. They want to be going in on towards Knight. They want to be going in for the zap, but Knight is inside of that invisibility, and so Kopite don't exactly know how to engage upon him. Cry with the Terror Blade. Has the Demon Zeal at the ready as well, and that is... I mean, the Demon Zeal just gives an absurd amount of attack speed. Really, it should be less. I mean, 100 attack speed, that's the Mask of Madness that you get to use without any mana whatsoever. And you also get health regen. So it costs like 20% of your HP, but it also gives you 20 health regen for 30 seconds. That can't be right. That actually can't be right, because 20% of his HP is... what? 320 HP? And if you regen 20 HP per second, then you just regenerate it in, what, 18 seconds? Lasso being found, but instantly getting blocked out by that Abaddon. And that is the problem here. 4 Kopites, Irvine are going to go for a hoof stomp and just finish off the Batrider. Again, Kopites struggling to make anything happen for them or for themselves. I mean, Future don't really need to be... You don't really need disables when it's Kopites who are the ones who are engaging upon them, only to end up dying. Falling like flies, really. 5,000 net worth advantage. Tormentor being taken down. 21 minutes Shrine of Wisdom is also going to spawn, and the Tormentor is going to go towards that Abaddon, as he has gotten the upgrade to his Aphotic Shield, damaging nearby opponents, which, to be fair, was, I mean, that was Abaddon's shield anyway previously, right? It's fine. It's a good enough spell, of course. It's a nice setup too, eventually when you get that second Tormentor. The Dark Willow's one is much better, the Cursed Crown, as that gives you additional disables. Knight instantly again hit the lasso, not really landing on him, and with Chucky not having a BKB, he is in trouble here. The snowball to buy them some amount of time, the borrowed time to be activated, but there is a stampede, an attempt to run over Kopites. Knight is going to go forward, finds the wicked 6 streak, and the Chucky is going to fall as well. The both of those cores didn't stand a chance. 1,500 goldie swing, 3,000 experience swing towards the way of Future Esports. As 22 minutes in, I mean, they are looking ready, well prepared to actually make their way towards some of these tier 2 towers, but they currently don't want to be doing so. They currently just want to be, I suppose, farming? Not really sure why they did not press the issue there. But of course, the Doom does have his ultimate, so... Irving inside of the invisibility will spot out that Razor as well as that Tusk. Going to go in for that 2-man snowball. Or rather, 2-man hoof stomp. The snowball will be there to buy them some amount of time, but Carlo is in a desperate attempt to run away, but they have seen their target. They don't care about the Tusk. They want this Razor. And this Centaur is going to try and chase him down. Willow in trouble, but will find the Shadow Realm. And Carlo did eventually end up dying towards the Shadow Fiend, and Anya is rooted down and is going to die. Knight on a godlike streak, and the Shadow Fiend, he's 9-1-5 with about 14,000 net worth.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Towards that top side. Mid lane, Irving has the Lotus Orb. Zoo now has the Eels, so he can provide that additional save. And meanwhile, Cry on, or KRY on that path to the Eye of Scotty. And once you get that, that's when you go, right? That's when you push the objectives. There's really nothing else to be had there. Kopites, they go for a 5-man smoke, or it's rather a 4-man smoke. They've left a Doom to farm up.
Dire are scanning.
Dos Carlo has that Blink Dagger. DCMG has that BKB.
Tribute to my house.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Towards that top side.
Are fortified.
Again, tier 2 tower is being threatened, but there is no response. The 5-man smoke didn't really do much.
Is under attack.
The tower is going to fall.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Carlo, a bit scared from the Centaur.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Bombi, hey, you got spotted out, buddy. There is a bat that is not going to be able to get back to his cave. Now inside of that Roshan, it doesn't seem like Kopites will be able to contest against this. Irving inside of that pit, and I believe they should give the Aegis to the Shadow Fiend rather than the Terrorblade, even though I do understand why they want to give it to the TP. $21 and 7, 13,000 of a net worth advantage. I hear a stampede, but it's not really to find a kill. It's just, I think he misclicked. Or perhaps he just felt like using it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Towards that mid side, they are looking to engage in, but without the stampede, they're going to be at the mercy. I mean, they don't have an exit out without the stampede, so they need to be careful about this. They need to be sure whether that's how they want to go in. Meanwhile, you have a DCMG with the BKB,
Tower is under attack.
so your high ground advantage is there. Bombi needs to somehow get the lasso in and then drag the target out without Docris being able to plant the aphotic shield, and that requires the Tusk to go in with the Batrider. Now, Cry with the Lotus Orb. Zoo was able to find the Batrider before he could even get the lasso off, and he is going to fall. Storm Spirit zaps forward, but not too sure what he can find there. Chucky has the BKB as well, so there are multiple BKBs available for Kopites if they want to be engaging. So far, though, there's a lack of desire to engage, as the bot top side racks will inevitably fall. Anya is going to get stunned down, and I think that Kopites are in trouble.
Dire are scanning.
Unlucky find.
Cry on the Terrorblade still has around 3 minutes of that Aegis, so he can potentially be going forward for that bot side tier 2 tower and potentially even go towards the high ground. Kopites, though, they have an action plan. They are going to go for a smoke. They need to get this. They need Chucky to get a Doom off on a good target, either the Centaur or the Shadow Fiend. And they need Bombi to get that lasso off as well. They need to chain their spells up, or perhaps find an isolated target. Not too sure the Willow is the ideal target to be found. I think you need a core here, but so far they haven't been able to find anyone. The Terrorblade is content with just pushing out the mid side. Of course, Anya will be able to skip these creeps, but there's an entire creep wave here. Of course, you do have the glyph, and that will allow you to actually cancel out these creeps. The rest of Kopite though, they are coming in from behind. Bumby uses the flame break and there's the storm spirit coming in, instantly getting heals up, but the stampede to come out in response of that lasso will mean that the Willow is able to survive. Yet still, the Centaur doomed up, but Knight was able to find a kill on towards Bumby. Anya no longer has any mana. Even DCMG is in trouble, forced to use the BKB, but he's just going to go out. And Chucky will call in the GG. There is nothing to be found for Kopite. No solace in sight. They are going to go back to their Fortress of Solitude and look towards some training, some improvements, and then come back into the series. Oh man, that was a very thorough game coming out from Future Esports. I mean, their Shadow Fiend just I was very impressed with the way that he was able to consistently execute those 3-man raises without breaking a sweat. It looked like he wasn't making any kind of effort into those, right? And then the Abaddon, Docres coming in with the Aphotic Shields. Every single time that Batrider tried to go in with that lasso, there was the Aphotic Shield, just like that. The Centaur Warrunner also finding those 2-man hoof jumps, being the only disablers you have, and consistently being able to initiate without any fear. I mean, overall, very well played by Future Esports, and I hope that Kopites can learn from their mistakes, come back stronger for game number 2, and perhaps take this series to that 3rd game. We will find out whether that will be the case right after a short break, and then we will be heading into game number 2. Batrider to try and find those lassos, but last time around it didn't really work all that well. This time around, however, they do have the opportunity to make it work even better because you don't have someone that can cancel out that lasso like the Abaddon. He is banned, but Future Esports, they go for the silencer, hoping to actually be able to use the global silence in response to that. And then they have the added layer of the Dawnbreaker, right? The Dawnbreaker can come in with the Solar Guardian, and then silencer can use the global silence to make that counter initiation all the more potent. Now Kopites, they go for that late game carry, the gyrocopter, over on their side.
Dire team ban.
Kopites going in for the Beastmaster and actually banning out the Morphling.
Dire team
Interesting.
ban. Radiant team ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
And the Terrorblade being banned out. Kopites, there's no TA, Shadow Fiend, or Morphling. Now there is the option of a Medusa, who does do pretty well against the Dragon Knight as well as a Gyrocopter, but I don't think... Oh wow, yeah. Future Esports are actually going to go for the Medusa as well. And overall, I mean, the reason I think Medusa is really good here is just the fact that the split shot will deal with the Beastmaster's creeps, the fact that Gyrocopter isn't a natural diffusal blade builder, and that the Dragon Knight and the Gyrocopter will have to face up against the Gorgon, right? And will end up being stoned down. That is how it usually ends up. You have to take care of the Gorgon. And the Medusa, in fact, is a natural Ioscadi builder, so does very well against the Dragon Knight if you're able to make it to that point. Now Future Esports, it is at the end of the day a 4 protect 1 strategy where they have to kind of make sure that Medusa stays farming towards that late game position. Meanwhile, you have the silencer and the silencer and the Dawnbreaker to make sure that counter initiation is always possible, and you can always bring in the Medusa as well with that ultimate. And then you have the Pangolier and the Tusk for the rotations, right? So counter initiation, sustain, and rotations, the triad of the 4 protect 1 strategy is complete for Future Esports, and Kopites have a similar strategy, right? Although it is a bit different because they have DCMG on that Beastmaster, who's going to be pushing those objectives. Anya with the Corrosive Dragon, again very good at pushing objectives, and then you have Chucky for that late game insurance. That is the way that Kopites will be Kopites will be playing with this. And then you have the pick off from Bombi and the Dark Willow coming in as well. The Batrider and the Dark Willow. So let's see if their strategy is going to work out. Overall, I do really like the drafts from both of these sides. I do slightly favor the draft of the Kopites in this one because you have 2 late game carries, right? The Dragon Knight is kind of a pseudo carry towards that late game. And then you have the Beastmaster who, again, in a scenario where you go really late, Kopites come out on top. And the thing is, with the Medusa pick, you are going to be going late.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oops. Sorry, let me just activate the observer controls, making the viewing a bit smoother. And of course, I do apologize if I missed some kills. I have to do the observing plus the casting, you know. So it is. Do have my work cut out for myself. Okay, it's less forgivable for me to mess up my English. Okay, I can get blamed for that one. It's okay. Kopites go for the 5-man smoke towards that jungle, dire jungle, but they won't really find anything. And meanwhile, Future Esports go for a 5-man smoke towards that triangle and inside the Radiant jungle, where again they won't find anything.
30 seconds to battle.
You have an observer ward though, so that is interesting. Carlo, do you want to be walking up, my friend? The observer horde is actually watching out for that Dawnbreaker. I do believe it sees him. Yeah, direct line of sight. Knight will be spotted out as well. And Carlo knows better than to walk up towards that high ground. Meanwhile, you do have the shards available from the toss, so you might want to be careful and not get hit. Knight. Pangolier versus the Dragon Knight. Talking a bit about this lane. It's pretty much an even scenario. It's even Steven over here. No, neither hero will be coming out on top. I think both of these heroes will be having a good enough time, and I think that Pangolier should be able to get enough lost hits, right? So should the Dragon Knight. Ideally, both of these heroes will continue farming. One thing is going to be different though. Pangolier is great at rotating past that 6-minute mark where you get that power rune. Meanwhile, Anya on that Dragon Knight is great at pushing objectives. So I think that's where the difference was going to be. Knight will be trying to get those pickoffs. Anya will be trying to take down the tower as quickly as possible. Both of those things lead to the same equation. It is objectives, and it is an advantage over the other side. Meanwhile, top side, it's going to be the Beastmaster plus the Dark Willow versus the Silencer and Cry. Now, the Silencer is an extremely vulnerable target over on this lane, and he really needs to be careful not to get hit by the two boars, right? And Carlo, once he gets his Bramble Maze, I have a feeling that Dockrez is going to be suffering quite a bit, as he really doesn't have any tool built in to survive here. Meanwhile, it's actually DCMG who's going to get zoned out by the Silencer, going to eat 8 entire glaives. And Carlo has the Shadow Realm though, so he can go inside of that realm and finish Dockrez off. The first blood to be found as DCMG on towards the Medusa. Will the Medusa actually find the trade? He will! The Venomous Volley coming in handy to take down the Beastmaster. A win for the Medusa there, because I know that the Willow found the first blood, but he was baited into giving Cry the golden experience when he was able to trade out the Beastmaster. So it's actually two cores, the core over on the side of Kopite's falling down and having to TP back into the lane. So it's not ideal. Knight. And of course towards that bot side. Again, a very aggressive lane coming out in the form of that Tusk as well as that Dawnbreaker. But so far it's the Tusk who is going to end up falling. Irving down to about having 8 napalm stacks on him. As make that 10 napalm stacks. And while this is supposed to be an extremely aggressive lane, they have to play this a bit careful, because they can get overrun by the Batrider. Two and 1 right now. Meanwhile, towards that top side, 4-minute mark is approaching. Carlo taking a bit of damage, but so far the entire game has turned a bit passive, right? Difficult for a Bambi to be engaged upon by this combination of the Dawnbreaker and the Tuskar, but overall, I think that both Chucky and Medusa will be able to continue farming up. Carlo in a bit of danger. Chucky. The Rocket Barrage dealing a fair bit of damage, but it's not too much. I think Irving is struggling here quite a bit, but he's able to stack up in terms of lost hits compared to the Beastmaster, right? So he's not exactly doing all that bad. Meanwhile, it's the gyrocopter who's actually the real winner of this entire laning phase, as he's going to have complete uncontested free farm thanks to his Batrider zoning the melee heroes out. Anya towards that mid side. And meanwhile, the Batrider Bombi falling incredibly low, but with Carlo here, he should be able to find the kill on towards the Tuskar. And Kopites are doing a much better job at spotting out these rotations. Meanwhile, it's towards that top side that DCMG almost fell down, but it simply wasn't enough, and had to let him go. The boars would have slowed down him too much, and there would have been too much space. There's too many creeps for Cry to actually abandon over on this top side, so Medusa will just continue farming those up. At least be able to get some nice little last hits in. Do find the creep there.
Denied.
Radiant are scanning.
Regeneration.
Let's see. Towards that mid side. Knight falling low here. Will eat a Dragon Tail, but the snowball is going to be there. Of course, the Willow has the Shadow Realm available, and the Knight is up in the air. And not really sure. I believe there's some lag happening, I suppose. Knight is going to fall back down with that shield crash, but the thing is, he doesn't actually have his ultimate. And there's no ultimate on the Dawnbreaker either. This is before that 7-minute Shrine of Wisdom, and Bombi will be able to run down the Tusk. Knight will be able to not do anything actually other than die out. Anya will be able to find himself that double kill, and at least Doctors will be able, or might have been able, to find that trade. The Shadow Realm did come online, and that means that there's going to be a triple kill for that Dragon Knight, and well as receiving a tip from Carlo. 7-minute the 7-minute Shrine of Wisdom about to spawn, as Dawnbreaker will be able to pick that one up. The Pangolier coming once again. Anya is now stuck inside of that form, and now with the Tusk and Knight coming in, I expected Knight to be at least be able to dodge one of those brambles and make his way towards the Dragon Knight, but he wasn't able to do so. DCMG well on his way to get the Helm of the Dominator and then convert that into a Helm of the Overlord after a while. Meanwhile, Cry continues to farm. Irving. Where's our bot side? Meanwhile, Zoo spotted out by that Batrider, but again, he doesn't exactly have the lasso, but Zoo doesn't exactly have a lot of HP either. But with Irving coming in, that is going to be a dead Batrider. The swashbuckle was enough, and now Knight actually has his Rolling Thunder, and perhaps he will be able to make something more happen other than the fact that he kept dying previously. I mean, Kopites, they have the way forward. They have the way to even out this series, should they want to do that. Of course, they would ideally want to do that, but the thing is, there is a response coming in from the other side. There is the Rolling Thunder as well as the Solar Guardian to drop, and Anya will fall down. And Kopites, if they really do want to take this to a game number 3, they need to show some more oomph. They need to continue with their momentum that they were building up towards that early laning phase. Right now, they have kind of left it a bit static once again, and you want Bombi to be continuously making space. He was doing so well on that Batrider despite not even having the lasso, but Now either he gets that level 6 by soaking a bit of experience from this Beastmaster, or he goes for more aggressive plays. Those are the only two ways about it. But I do not want to see him wasting time here. Chucky towards that bot side, eyeing that Chrysalis, and once he gets that, he should be able to increase his farming speed. Right now, he's sitting at about 72 last hits, and let's actually take a look at the net worth for both of these sides. It is 4,500. He is at the top, and meanwhile, Medusa is closely trailing him, so it's pretty much an even game in terms of carry net worth. Meanwhile, Anya is the big winner here out of the laning phase, though. He does have significant amounts of farm. Meanwhile, towards that bot side, Bombi, incredibly low, will survive just on the edge there. XU now towards that bot side tower. Even towards that top lane, it's Anya who's going to spot out a Doctorate, and it will find the Dragon Tail holding the Breath of Fire for now. And so far they haven't exactly done much to punish the Medusa here. I wonder if they're going to be looking to do that anytime soon. 10 minutes in, as this is slowly once again the Kopites do turn the page in their favor. They are turning the tide against the other side, against future esports. But now Gyrocopter, he doesn't exactly have anyone nearby. That snowball will land, the shards will block his way out, and Irving will actually finish him with his hammer, as Dark Widow did teleport towards that bot lane, but it simply wasn't enough. Bombi will spot out the Medusa, but there's really no one else here, so I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. Anya, he's almost been able to create his Mage Slayer, will be heading to the secret shop to create that item. And once you have that, you know, since you reduce the opponent's magical damage, oh wow, these are a lot of stacks. Not the hard cam. The hard cam has decent stacks, like four stacks, but it's actually just the amount of ancient stacks here. And Dragon Knight is just so good at taking down stacks, right? He's Breath of Fire reduces these stacks attack damage. Meanwhile, you can just constantly reposition, just move back, use your attack speed and your high attack range, and just take down these creeps. Let's see, 6,100 in terms of net worth, and oh, he wanted to go for the rune, won't be able to find it. Cry almost has his Montesal. Bombi is playing mind games, or rather the juking game, and so far he is successful, but let's see how far he can do that. Turns out not very long. It's actually Doctorus who found that kill, so okay, no, never mind. It's Doctorus who has this rivalry with Carlo, but not sure if it is a rivalry, but that's what it appears to be, I suppose. Nothing too disrespectful was said. Everything seemed to be a jest in the game, but again, I don't know the exact dynamics, of course. Another smoke coming in. It is a bit too late. The scams have been cleared out, but perhaps Anya, who's on half HP, he will end up falling. XU will find that kill. The teleports are coming in, and they seem to have future esports in a pincer. The Solar Guardian is going to come raining down. The fear from the Dark Willow is going to be planted, but they are not deterred by this. They are going to go forward with that Rolling Thunder. They want the Beastmaster, or is it the Willow? Will be able to take him down without much effort, as Bombi is going to be walking into that one, and he's going to get taken down as well. Bombi, I'm not too sure what he was doing there. 3 heroes to fall, as Future Esports, they are back in this game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Kopites versus Future Esports as the lead, which was about 3 to 4,000 from the side of Kopite, has been brought down to about just a little under 1,000. If you take a look at the win probability, it is actually 54% in favor of the Dire. It was about 70% win probability towards the start of this game. Of course, the win probability is extremely volatile towards the start. That's just how the probability works. Of course, again, I am very bad at maths, so I would not advise you to follow me on my maths. Actually, I'm very good at Dota. You know, I can predict picks. I can predict how this game is going or going to go. But maths, nah. That's not my thing. I don't fully believe in the subject of mathematics. 7 and 8 as now. I think this is going to be the first tower they're going to take. Yeah, it's the first one. The rest of the tier 1s are pretty healthy apart. I think the mid tier 1 is about at half of its HP. Meanwhile, boss side, Knight, the rest of the Radiant side, Kopite, they're not really interested in taking down this tower. They might actually be interested in taking down this Dawnbreaker, who's got himself in between of 3 heroes. The Global Silence is going to come out. He is going to get rooted. You have the Roar as well, but he's going to save it, as a TCMG didn't really need that Roar to be able to take the Dawnbreaker down. 15 minutes in, and with the Helm of the Overlord, perhaps Kopites go for their very own tier 2 tower instead. Meanwhile, boss side, they see Chucky. Knight is here as well, following up with a shield crash as well as a rolling thunder inside of the shards is going to be the perfect scenario for to take down Chucky. And now they need to find their exit though. The teleports are going to be coming in towards that tier 2. XU will be left on his own. He will end up falling, but that is a very well worth it trade. Finding a carry and giving up your support, you would take that any day of the week. Knight finds that Dragon Tail on towards the Pangolier, but here comes Cry, the first entry of the Gorgon, with the Stone Gaze, and it's not going to turn them to stone, but it is going to instill some amount of fear in their hearts. Kopites will simply just back away, and now 4 heroes to make their entry. They want to contest this Roshan. The shards do find DCMG isolated from the rest of his team, and they're going to go all in with the Solar Guardian. Anya goes in towards the Medusa, but that is a target you simply cannot contest with right now without your Gyrocopter in particular. Carlo will also end up dying. And inside of the Roche pit they go. Future Esports, they can take the Roshan, but they don't want to. They went in once, they thought about it. Then they were like, why? We don't want the Aegis. We want to take Kopites down when they enter the Roche pit again. We want to make sure that the allure of the cheese is always going to be there, but we are going to make sure that it's a mousetrap instead of a free block of cheese. Of course, it's a metaphor because there's no real cheese in there. It's just the Aegis. This is the first Roche. Anya needs something more. I think he needs to sustain, right? He is building a Mantis style to dispel that Global Silence, which is great. It will give him that HP as well. Bumby, although doesn't have that Blink Dagger, but with the Dragon Tail coming in, the Global Silence will mean that the Pangolier will be able to get his Rolling Thunder off. And I think he's just going to be rolling away into the sunset. Dockers. The Hand of Midas readied up by the Silencer. Irving very kind of close to his Aghanim Scepter. Considering it's 18 minutes in, he is pretty close to it. And now again they enter the Roche pit. This was abandoned by Future Esports earlier, and I wonder if they go for a defense or a contest. Right now, they're just thinking about this. There is no Rolling Thunder, there is no Dawnbreaker Ultimate, there is no Global Silence, and this means that it's going to be a free Roshan. The Radiant claim it for their own side, and going to be about it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, XU being got out over on that bot side. Let's take a look at what the Dragon Knight is making. Of course, it was the Montesar. We did discuss that earlier. So let's not take a look at what the Dragon Knight is making. Let's take a look at what DCMG is making. He is making an Assault Querus for that Assault push. And now, the incoming Assault is on the Dragon Knight instead. The Solar Guardian comes dropping down on Anya. And there is no support to be had. The Beastmaster was there, but he decided to turn the other way. The Dragon is a beast that he will not follow, as he's going to go towards the outpost. Now, I do believe they saw this, though, and he isn't teleporting towards the other side. Do Future Esports want to be making their way? I think they saw him, but don't want to be contesting him. Now, they will at least clean up the Tormentor. That will be a nice little objective going their way. Let's think about what.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
21 minutes. Shrine of Wisdom is going to spawn, but right now, Kopites, they want to. They're trying to hunt for this side of Future Esports, but they will see the Medusa is towards this bot side, so they have two choices: either convert the smoke into an objective tier 2 push, or go through the outpost. Turns out it's going to be the tier 2 push, but still, Dusk coming in. They are showing signs, Future Esports, that they want to be defending this. Cry, the Medusa is going to just frontline here, and there is the Gorgon staring at you. You have the lasso to go in with. Doesn't have the blink dagger, but they can perhaps start things off with a roar. No, they're gonna start things off with a Dragon Tail. The Global Silence to come out, and Knight will be able to launch his ultimate. The thing is, though, he is just rolling back and forth, unable to really find or catch on towards anyone. And now the Dawnbreaker is going to go in on towards the Dragon Knight. Irving finds the kill there, and the Cry is going to hold his position. Beastmaster Screams have fallen. The two support duo, unfortunately, may be able to get out, but it's going to come at a cost. It's going to be two heroes down now, and make it a third, as Carlo is going down. Of course, the Beastmaster was able to turn it on towards DCMG, who is rooted down towards those Brambling Mazes. Chucky is coming in. Now it's a carry for a carry. The Gorgon versus the Gyrocopter. Who is going to win this? Of course, DCMG comes in with that Beastmaster, and Cry is losing out on a lot of mana. Can he finish Chucky off? He will. And Dawnbreaker comes in. Irving with the hammer. Cry with the team wipe on towards Kopites. 22 minutes in, and it's a dominating streak right off the bat. That is 3,000 gold going the way of the Dire side. 7,500 experience going their way as well. The second game is looking like it's Kopites, except they had the early game, they had the laning phase. 3,000 to 4,000 of a net worth advantage, but they simply let it go. They stopped putting out the aggression, and when you do that against a Medusa, it just doesn't work out that well. You need to constantly apply the pressure over and over again. But at least, I mean, it isn't over by any stretch of the means, by any stretch of the word, right? The Medusa can come back into this. You have an Eye of Skadi on you.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's on towards that bot tier 2 tower, and there is no MKB being made here. The Gyrocopter is going to be making his Daedalus. He has the Chrysalis now. He could actually make a Revenant's Brooch. It's more cost effective, and then he could go for the MKB. But you need something against the Butterfly. I mean, Beastmaster's creeps won't be hitting him. Medusa doesn't really care about armor reduction all that much. I know it does burn away a bit more mana, but at the end of the day, you have a Butterfly, right? So you are going to be dodging out the creep hits as well. The Dragon Knight also is going to be missing his hits. In fact, the Dragon Knight doesn't really have any farm. Or not that much farm anyway. In contrast, this is all in contrast to the Medusa and what you need to actually take the Medusa down, right? So 19,000 net worth on the Medusa, and it is, you know, looking like it's going to be very difficult, at least with the items you do have. Now one thing is, the Dragon Knight was going to get his Manta set. It was in the courier, so at the very least, I mean, you have the ability to dispel that silence and at least continue fighting up. Now I don't exactly know what dispelling that silence is going to do for Anya, because he only has 2 spells to use. He doesn't even have a BKB or any other item like that. As it's looking tough. It's looking, playing against a Medusa from behind is an uphill task at the very least. Dawnbreaker actually is going to come in to try and save his silencer, and Doctorus may not be alive, but he is going to be able to at least be traded out. Irving will get that kill. And with the Willow down, I wonder if he has buyback. Let's see. Willow has the buyback. So they can't exactly translate this into a high ground push because your silencer is down. Of course, if you kill the Batrider, then you can potentially go push the high ground to force the 2 buybacks. That is something that you can go for. But I think Bombi should be getting back. I don't think the Bombi should be making an engagement on towards Irving, because it's pretty hard. Gyrocopter is teleporting. Where is he TPing? Oh, they're coming in actually they're trying to take down Irving. And the Medusa is towards the mid side. They won't be able to actually make it towards the Dawnbreaker, and I wonder if the Dawnbreaker is actually going to turn around to get a kill on Bombi, which could go very horribly because the teleports are going towards that bot side. It seems like Irving, he's just going to fall back. Bombi trying to find that lasso, but in fact is going to get hit by a rolling thunder. The Pangolier will find that kill. Irving is on an unstoppable streak. DCMG. Anya on towards that Medusa, but she takes such little damage. The Gorgon's Grasp, the Gorgon's Gaze is going to fall upon Kopites as they are going to suffer. DCMG is going to be the first one to fall, and the rest of Kopites, they are just going to have to tug themselves behind that triangle.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Right. Again, Batrider tried to go in, but is just going to end up falling instead. The global silence is just too good against the Batrider. And Chucky has the Satanic, so he can hold his own. The problem is, he needs to increase his damage output, because a Satanic without damage is like... All of the references in my mind were too dark, so I'm going to avoid giving any of those references. I'm just going to say, if you're making a Satanic, if you're going to be, if you want lifesteal, have the damage to actually lifesteal, and that is the message for the day. 15 and 21, 11,000 of a net worth advantage, of course, and it's down to the last tier 2, or second last tier 2. It's going to be down to the last tier 2, and it doesn't even seem like Future Esports, they even cared about the Medusa. They didn't even care about the Aegis over on the other side. They just know that their Medusa is too far ahead. Of course, you don't want to be giving the window to the gyrocopter to gain that damage though. For Kopites, if the gyrocopter is able to create that MKB, then perhaps Chucky can actually carry this game for the Kopites. They need their Dragon Knight to actually perform, as well as Anya has had these same items for the past few minutes now, and it doesn't even seem like he's anywhere close to his next power spike. We are approaching the end of the mid game, nearly the end of the mid game, or at least we are in the later parts of the mid game. Of course, DCMG does have the Assault Quarus, and now it's Cry on towards that high ground. That tier 3 tower is getting poked and prodded, and Kopites, it seems like they want to be trading their tier 3 for a tier 2, when in fact it's not going to be a trade. That Fortify is going to come out, and the question is Cry going to end up going back? The Dawnbreaker is currently waiting. Chucky, no BKB up online quite just yet. There's the lasso and the instant global silence to come off. Knight comes rolling in with that thunder. The Batrider is going to be the first one to die, and the rest of their team are falling back. Chucky is in an incredibly difficult position. He is stuck inside of those shards, and the Solar Guardian will mean that he ends up dying. The rest of Kopites simply can't cope, and the GG is going to be thrown out. Kopites lose this series against Future Esports in a 2-0, and for Future Esports, this is their first series win in the Lunar Snake Season number 2, presented by Cringe Station. Oh man, what a series. And just to update you guys on the group standings as they stand, we are, I think, in 4 days of the group. I'll just bring them up. Let's see, number 1 on these groups is, of course, Protocol 20. They have 2 wins and 2 losses, and then they are trailed behind by Yangon Galacticos, who have 2 wins and 0 losses. And you have C911 with 1 win, 2 losses, Kopites with 1 win and 1 loss, and then you have Carstensz with 1 win and 0 losses, and then you have Future Esports with 1 win and 2 losses. Meanwhile, Excel Esports and Interactive Philippines have yet to play a game, and will be doing so later on. We have a lot of matches. I mean, the group stage is supposed to last till the 26th of July. So, you know, do keep on tuning into the tournament. Meanwhile, you know, I said there was a special announcement. So from tomorrow, we will be having, at least for the next 2 days, we'll be having duo casts. Automo will be joining me in duo casting the Cringe Station Lunar Snake Trophy. I have worked with him. Great guy, great caster, and I look forward to casting the event with him. We have done CCT previously as well, so it works. It really gelled together, and I hope that the coming days are going to be filled with some great Dota. We are going to have 3 matches lined up for you guys tomorrow as well at the same time, 12 p.m. Singaporean time, and that is, of course, 5 a.m. the 6 a.m. Central European Summertime. Of course, this was your host, Tultras, and this was it for today, guys. This was a 2-0 to end things off, and I will be signing out. Do come in, stay tuned, and I will see you all. Don't stay tuned, actually, you can turn off now. I will see you all tomorrow.
Crowded places, feel it sinking in. Lonely faces.